Hi guys, very interesting video today, so get cozy, get yourself a cup of tea or coffee and let's start. I just recently was binge watching all the James Bond movies and I found it very interesting to analyze the aesthetic of each Bond girl and what they have in common. And I wanted to actually analyze it from the viewpoint of Kibbe body types. First I wanted to see what kind of aesthetic idea directors have about Bond girl just in general. Is it mostly one type of a woman which matches that aesthetic of a Bond girl? So I will be very bold today and I'm gonna type these women myself based on just several pictures that I find on the internet. There's just not many pictures of them showing their body as it is, just standing straight and made not on the angle, which is very hard to find. Most of them already have that illusion made with fashion, made with makeup and hair. So we're gonna try to go through that illusion and get to woman herself. And if you're new to my channel, if you know nothing about Kibbe, I have a huge Kibbe playlist. I'm gonna leave the link down below. Kibbe himself said that typing celebrities is a parlor game. Sometimes it has nothing to do with reality because, as I just said, it's an illusion. Even the movies, sometimes the lighting, hair and makeup and clothes itself is creating absolutely different structure of a body, even like visual structure. So mostly it's gonna be first impression, my first impression, and some of them we're gonna discuss in the comments. I'm gonna ask you what you think about that. Actually, there's more than 50 Bond girls because each movie has 2 or 3. I won't be able to do all of them in one video. I let ChatGPT choose what would be the most Bond girls out of all the Bond girls. So it gave me the list of about 30 women. So first movie is Dr. No, and this is 1962. Ursula Andrews was playing that. My first impression was that she was flamboyant natural, especially when she got out of the water. She was all wet and her hair was very sleek on the back, so nothing kind of interfered into my perception of her shape, and I could definitely see that she's top heavy. She has elongated arms, elongated legs, slightly larger top part here, large rib cage. She's definitely frame dominant to me, and her face has a strong bone structure. She's giving me that slightly Cindy Crawford thing. When I checked her height though, she is not as tall as I thought. She's 5'5", 5'65", but still I think this is one of those examples when woman can look taller and look bigger just because of her shape. I do think that she is flamboyant natural. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. The next lady from the same movie is Eunice Gayson. My first guess was that she was soft natural. I think she has blunt bones, slightly wide. I think her essence is also soft natural. Her face, her facial bones. Then I checked her height and she's 5'4", 163, so she can definitely be soft natural type. I was thinking about soft gamine as well, but to me she doesn't look as delicate as soft gamine. Now, James Bond movie number 2, From Russia with Love, 1963. We have Daniela Benn. My first impression of her was dramatic classic. I didn't see that much of an elongation. I could see the balanced body with some strength, with some broadness, with some angularity. I think she looks best in dramatic classic lines. There was a couple of moments when I was in doubt. I thought she might also be soft classic because I could see these kind of pictures of her. As I said, it's very hard sometimes to say because on the pictures, on the angles, my shoulders are actually quite angular and squarish. See how tapered, how sloped my shoulder looks like, and I look much softer if I put my arm on the back. My arm looks shorter, so everything softens like that. And if I sit straight like that, you can see how squarish my shoulders look. So a similar situation with her. But then I checked her height. It's 5'7", 170. So this makes me go more towards dramatic classic. So she has some elongation. She can pull off longer vertical line because normally soft classics are slightly on a smaller side. Number 3, Goldfinger, 1963. First one is Honor Black Man. Now all of her photos are very angled. I was always in between dramatic and dramatic classic. I don't see that much of elongation. Then I checked her height and she's 5'6", 168. But at the same time, I can't fully rely on data on Google. So I see balanced body with some sharpness. So I would go for dramatic classic for now. What do you guys think? Let me know. Next one is Shirley Eaton. My first impression of her, she's cute, she's smallish, she has a bit angular jaw and a bit straight figure. She has slightly angular facial features. features, smallish facial features, with some softness. She's a bit top heavy and has a little bit short legs. So from my viewpoint, she's soft natural. And Shirley Eaton is 5'7", 167. Now, next girl is Tanya Mallet. She was model on Vogue, first of all. And in Vogue, on those times, they were definitely taking women who were quite tall. They were whether dramatics or flamboyant naturals. Rare dramatic classics or something like that. So I was stuck in between dramatic classic and flamboyant natural because face and essence, I would say dramatic classic. And this is how she mostly was dressed, as a dramatic classic. On the other hand, when she was wearing everything too balanced, I could see the elongation, huge elongation. They portrayed her and they dressed her like dramatic classic, in dramatic classic lines. When I saw her smile, I could kind of feel her a little bit more, so I think she's flamboyant natural, and she looks great in flamboyant natural lines. To me, in terms of essence, she's a little bit like Gwyneth Paltrow. So she has some classic features on her face, a little bit chiseled, but at the same time, along with her body, she is more flamboyant natural. She's more elongated and slightly broad. I would not say that she's very angular as dramatic. Tanya is 5'7", 171. Now, Thunderball 1965. There are two ladies here. First one is Claudine Auger. My first impression was flamboyant natural. Then I started being in a doubt. I was thinking maybe she's soft dramatic because of her chiseled facial features and slightly exotic facial features. So I think she's elongated and frame dominant still, not curve dominant. And here's the picture of her with other women. Just look at how elongated she looks. I would go for flamboyant natural for now. What do you guys think? And Claudine Auger is 5'8". She's 172. Next one, we have Lucia Paluzzi. My first thought was that she was theatrical romantic. In internet, her height is 5'6", 168. I think she still can be theatrical romantic at this height, but maybe not more. Because now, as I heard, Kibbe says that 5'6", now not 5'5", considers to be moderate height for women, but 5'6". So after 5'6", woman most likely will gonna look more vertical, more elongated. So movie number 5, you only think twice. 1967. We have two ladies there and they are Japanese actresses. Very beautiful. First one is Akiko Wakabayashi. My first impression was that she was romantic. Then I thought about maybe she's also soft gamine. I tried to look at her from that viewpoint as well because she's very soft, very rounded. She's not angular. She looks smallish. Then I decided that she's not soft gamine for me because she doesn't have that extra childishness, angularity in her, and sharpness. So to me, she is romantic. And then when I checked her height, I was right, she was not tall. She was 5'4", 163. Next lady from this movie is Mie Hama, another Japanese actress. My first impression that she was soft gamine. Smallish, soft, curvy, a bit angular, has childish facial features. This is her in 2020, by the way. Playful looking. That's how she feels herself. That slight edginess looks great on her and very fresh. Bright makeup and hair. And I was right, she's also small, 5'5", 164. So she definitely can be soft gamine. What do you guys think? Movie number 6, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, 1969. And we have Diana Rigg. And this woman is in Devi Kibbe's official celebrities list, so I don't have to type her. She's dramatic classic by Kibbe. She's very balanced. She's a bit broad and slightly squarish and a bit sharp in face. Actually, her height is 5'9", 174. You see, dramatic classics can be sometimes on a taller side. Here, it just depends on visual proportions, whether they look very elongated in balanced clothes. For example, in a knee-length dress with waist emphasis here, does she look elongated or does she look normal? Number 7, Diamonds Are Forever, 1971. First one is Jill St. John's. My first impression was that she was soft dramatic. She's sharp, elongated bones with soft flesh on top. I see curves. I don't see frame. The way she poses, the way she walks, the way she sits, just naturally, when I can see that her body is relaxed, I can see curves more. She looks great with soft dramatic hair, with soft dramatic makeup, and with just traditional glam with ornateness. Body posture is not flamboyant natural for me. It is more soft dramatic. What do you guys think? And her height is 5'6", 168. Next lady is from the same movie is Lana Wood. My first impression was that she is short looking. But she's not theatrical romantic. She's quite broad in her jaw here and just broad in general in her figure slightly. A bit more angular than theatrical romantics. Then she's not romantic. She is not as rounded and as delicate as romantics. She's again a little bit broad and a little bit squarish, but still small. We only have one body type that would fit this description, and it is flamboyant gamine. The more I looked at her pictures, the more I thought that she was flamboyant gamine. Then I found out that her younger sister is Natalie Wood, and Natalie Wood is in official David Kibbe's celebrities list as soft gamine. She's 5'3", she's 157, so she's tiny, she's petite. And the more I checked her pictures with other people, the more I could tell that she was flamboyant gamine. Number 8, Live and Let Die, 1973, and we have Jane Seymour. She is in his official celebrities list as theatrical romantic. She's 5'3" or 5'4", and she's 164. So she's not tall, she's quite delicate in bones, she has very soft features, but she's just slightly more on the sharper side. Number 9, The Man with Golden Gun, 1974, and we have Brit Eklund. She's not tall. This is her with Charlize Theron, by the way, and Charlize Theron is flamboyant natural. So it's sometimes nice to see the comparison of one woman who we already know for sure what type she is, just to compare delicacy of her bones. Now, she's quite delicate for me, quite cute. I would say soft gamine. That was my first impression of her. I was thinking about soft natural too, but when I checked her pictures, when I checked that makeup and that hair that she had with huge spider lashes, thick lashes, bright makeup, hair that is more soft gamine-ish, and that smile, her doll-like face, and her quite delicate body, yet slightly angular. So I do think that she's soft gamine for me right now, and she's 5'5", she's 165. And again, as I said, I found it in Google, so she could be shorter. Then number 10, The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977, and we have Barbara Bach. She's actually a wife of Ringo Starr, a drummer of the Beatles. She was a very famous model, as I know, and to me she's obviously flamboyant natural. That was my first impression of her. She has quite prominent squarish bones, blunt bones on her face and on her body. Her shoulders are squarish, she's slightly top heavy, she's quite muscular, like slightly athlete feel about her. She has elongated limbs, so she's obviously flamboyant natural to me. And she's 5'7", 170. 11's movie Moonraker, 1979. So we have Louis Chills. My first impression, again, flamboyant natural. A large bones, top part is wide, angular, and elongated. From my viewpoint, her essence is also flamboyant natural. Let me know what you think. She's 5'8", 170, 171 in internet. Now, 12, For Your Eyes Only, 1981. Carole Bouquet. My first impression was between flamboyant natural and dramatic classic. And dramatic because she's elongated, she's chiseled. What makes me feel like she's more dramatic? She looks better in more clean, minimalistic looks, as opposed to here, for example, where she lightened her hair, softened her look very much. Just compare these two pics. Just look at overall, look at the face, makeup and hair, too blended makeup, and everything is softened here in this picture. So I think when she goes for more dramatic color combinations and minimalistic look, she looks better, more elegant. Number 13, Octopusi, 1983, and we have Maud Adams there. My first impression was that she was flamboyant natural, because flamboyant naturals normally are kind of softened dramatics. If dramatics have extremely sharp or angular bones, flamboyant natural's bones are slightly softer. She has bluntness in bones, she doesn't have much curves, she has long body, long vertical line, she has that freedom about her, and she looks great in flamboyant natural lines, I think. So let me know what you think. And Maud Adams is 5'9", she is 175, so she's on a taller side. Number 14, A View to a Kill, 1985. So we have Tanya Roberts there. That was probably the hardest for me out of all. I was thinking about flamboyant natural and theatrical romantic at the same time, and can you imagine how different they both are? I didn't want to check her height yet, I just wanted to figure that out myself, so I watched some parts of the movie again just to see how she was moving there. Her face looks a bit delicate, her facial features look a little bit more theatrical romantical-ish. Then I checked in which lines she looks good. I think long vertical line with some free silhouette doesn't look bad on her. I think she looks great on that. And then I checked her height, and she appeared to be a little bit on the taller side. She's 5'7", 171, so it's a little bit tall for theatrical romantics. She already can't look that delicate. And theatrical romantics are very, very delicate. This is why the recommendations for them work. For me, she's flamboyant natural, or I would even say natural. David Kibbe doesn't use pure naturals anymore. He says everybody is more, whether on a flamboyant side or on the softer side. But still, you know, I think it can happen when the person is not as flamboyant, so she can pull off a little bit softer lines, softer silhouettes, and not as elongated. But still, she's more on the natural side for me. She's not soft natural to me personally, because she's not as meaty as many soft naturals are, or not as smallish as some of them are. Number 15, The Living Daylights, 1987. And we have Miriam Makeba there. And my first thought was that she was flamboyant gamine. When I checked other pictures, yes, I still think that she's flamboyant gamine. She is broadly angular, and in many photos, actually, the stylization that they go for her is very flamboyant gamine. Her hairstyle, her hair color, her haircut, everything tells me that she's flamboyant gamine. Her broadly angular facial features, her broadly angular body. Then I checked her height, and she's not tall. And it Google says maybe she's even smaller. So it's 5'5", 165. Then she also reminded me of Nastasia Kinski, and actually Nastasia Kinski is verified flamboyant gamine by David Kibbe, and you can see how similar these ladies are, especially with this hairstyle, so I could easily even confuse them too. Number 16, License to Kill, 1989, and we have Carrie Lowell there. And it's interesting because first photos of her I've seen, and first impression that I remember from the movie was that she had short hair and she was kind of like tomboyish slightly there. So when we see that pixie cut, and especially if it fits to kind of smallish and sharp facial bones, we kind of immediately perceive it as gamine, because gamines normally is the type that looks amazing with pixie cut. Not every gamine, of course, but most of them is just because of their bone structure. In Carrie Lowell, she has quite chiseled facial bones. I was thinking about flamboyant gamine or gamine at the beginning, and then I checked other pictures, and I could see quite large body, elongated arms, top heavy body. She has quite wide rib cage and quite wide shoulders. She's taller, she's larger, and her height is 5'10", 177. So she's tallest one so far out of all these girls. From my viewpoint, she's flamboyant natural. She has width on top, elongation, and she's frame dominant. And you might say, why then she looks that good with that short pixie haircut? You know, some women, they have by nature quite delicate facial bones and facial features. But then if you are only accommodating that and that haircut looks great from that frame, then it sometimes can look more separate from the rest of the body. So sometimes we just want to marry face and the body so they would both look kind of in harmony with each other. Because in this case, our eyes start comparing her head, which is very small, sharp, and compact and delicate, with the body, and body becomes much larger than it was before, visually. Number 17, Golden Eye, 1995, Isabella Scorupco. My first thought about her was soft natural. I could see that softness in her face, plus that 90s rounded hairstyle. Romantic vibe, but she has blunt bones. She has strong, squarish jaw. She has wide rib cage, and she has squarish shoulders. I was even thinking about maybe flamboyant natural at the beginning. But no, I think as far as she has a lot of that softness about her, I still think that she's soft natural, but at the same time, she is quite tall. According to Google, she's 5'9", 172, but she doesn't look as elongated for me, and she would look nice in soft natural lines from my viewpoint. What you guys think, let me know. Number 18, Tomorrow Never Dies, 1997. We have two ladies here. First one is Terry Hatcher. My first impression of her was that she was flamboyant natural. She is frame dominant, she's top heavy, she is elongated. I checked her a little bit in dramatic lines, but no, I still think that she's flamboyant natural to me. Next one is Michelle Yeoh, and she looks small. Her head is on the larger side a little bit, and her body is on the smaller side, and I had to check many of her pictures in different dresses and in different lines, so I think she's flamboyant gamine in frame. And when I checked other pictures too, she's smallish, she's angular, she's a bit broad, especially in the face. Her face is quite strong, she has a lot of drama in that, so if we compare even her picture with Kate Blanchett, she's pure dramatic. Michelle is just smaller, she's more compact, but their heads are actually same size. Michelle's body is much smaller, and they both have that drama in their bone structure. So Michelle is quite more compact. In terms of proportions, I think she is flamboyant gamine type. Number 19, The World Is Not Enough, 1999. We have two ladies here. It's Sophie Marceau, and there's a funny story about this beautiful French actress. There are several Kibbe publics in internet, especially many years ago when I wasn't as good in Kibbe system. I was checking what other people say, and many people were showing this picture as an example of theatrical romantic body type, and they said that Sophie Marceau is a theatrical romantic. I totally agree on this picture. she looks like theatrical romantic. But then I decided to check. It's good because this is what I saw. How much more elongated she is, how much more sharp she is. Now I think that she is dramatic. What do you guys think? Let me know. I think she has thin bones in her face and in her body. She's very elongated. She's not large or wide or broad. She's more chiseled. And she's 5'8", 171. So there's no way she could be theatrical romantic. And the next woman is Denise Richards, and she's a famous model. She's not super tall though. She's 5'6", 168. As most models, I was thinking about her as flamboyant natural. Then I was thinking about soft natural too, because she's not that tall. But then I thought, no, she's flamboyant natural still for me, because she is not as soft. We see bones, we see muscles, and she's more dry to me. We don't see as much softness, meat, flesh. We don't see all that. So we see quite strong vertical lines. So I would say she's flamboyant natural to me. Number 20, Die Another Day, 2002. We have two ladies here. First one is Halle Berry, and she is verified soft gamine by Kibbe. So she is soft, curvy, she's angular, she has doll-like features, and many people were like, yeah, she has such broad shoulders on some pictures. Yeah, she does. But see, Kibbe is not about like measuring the parts of your body. It's more like the overall impression. And if we see most of her pictures, she's also not tall. She's 5'5", 165. She's quite compact. And soft gamines, this is why they are not romantics, because they can have angularity here and there. But the overall perception that we get from that heart shape thing about them, like a roundness and sharpness at the same time, this is what we perceive about them. Now the next woman is Rosamund Pike. I think she's classic, but many people disagree with me because they say she has a lot of elongation, she has a lot of broadness, so she could be flamboyant natural. I'm very curious what Kibbe would put her in. First time I saw her was in Pride and Prejudice. I think no way flamboyant natural would look as delicate as she looked in that dressing, with that hairstyle and with that makeup. No way. I think she doesn't look elongated or broad there. She looks very delicate. She looks quite delicate in her rib cage here, in that top part. So to me, she's kind of like that modern example of classic body type. Yeah, and again, she's a little bit on the taller side. She's 5'9", 174, and she looks great in classic lines. Sometimes I could be thinking about her as a dramatic classic also because of the height and the slight broadness sometimes that I could see. But for now, she's classic for me. I might change my mind in some time, or we're gonna wait for what Kibbe says. And let me know please in the comments what you think. 21, Casino Royale, 2006, Eva Green. I think she's dramatic type, and I've seen it in many Kibbe publics. Many people think that she's dramatic, and even though I think David Kibbe himself never typed her, I also think that she's dramatic. She's not very tall, she's 5'7", 167, but obviously proportions that she has, they're very elongated, very sharp bones, sharp, elongated legs and arms and torso, and her face also is very sharp and elongated. So to me, she is dramatic. Number 22, Quantum of Solace, 2008. We have Olga Kurylenko, and my first impression about her, dramatic classic. Some say that she probably is flamboyant natural. I don't think so. Still, it gives me that similar vibe of Lily Eldridge. Lily Eldridge is a Victoria's Secret supermodel, and she is in David Kibbe's official list as dramatic classic. And even though she's also on a taller side, she's not as tall, first of all, as other models, and then proportionately she is a little bit more broad than elongated, so her broadness actually compensates her elongation, so she looks a little bit more moderate in everything. So those dramatic classic lines kind of look best on her. It doesn't mean that she can't go for flamboyant natural lines, but flamboyant natural lines normally make these ladies look slightly untidy, so for them a little bit more chiseled or blunt or symmetrical things look better. So from my viewpoint, Olga Kurylenko is a little bit more on the dramatic classic side. Another woman she reminds me of in terms of aesthetic is Olivia Munn, and she's also in David Kibbe's list as dramatic classic. Kind of soft, but she has very balanced but slightly broad frame. Olga is 5'9", she's 174. Now 23, Skyfall, 2012, and we have Berenice Marlowe, and I also think that she's dramatic classic. Also, she reminds me of that Lily Eldridge vibe. She's a little bit bottom heavy, her legs are on the thicker side, she's quite balanced, she's quite strong a bit. And I remember in Metamorphosis, David Kibbe's book, he talked about some dramatic classics sometimes can be bottom heavy, so when they gain weight on the bottom part of their body, so their legs get thicker normally, bottom part of the hips. shapes. But it doesn't mean if you're pear-shaped, you're automatically dramatic classic. No, you can be actually any type. Always have to look at all the features that you have in your body. Berenice Marlowe is 5'9", 172. 24, Spectre, 2015. Léa Seydoux. I was always hesitating between soft classic and soft natural about her. I had to check so many pictures of her to make my decision because I was so confused. Sometimes I saw her in soft natural lines. I didn't like it. Sometimes I saw her in soft classic lines. I didn't like it. Sometimes I saw her in that lines, I loved it. I was thinking about that a little bit, and then when I found some pictures with extreme bluntness and symmetry, with extreme clean lines, I could see immediately that she's a little bit on the soft natural side. So she needs a little bit of relaxation. And Léa is not tall. She's 5'6", 168. So what do you guys think about her? Now we have 25. Up to this day, the last movie, No Time to Die, 2021, and we have again Léa Seydoux that I just talked about her, and Ana de Armas. She's very controversial. I first was confused, then if you remember, I made a huge analysis about her being in Marilyn Monroe movie. I actually gonna leave the link down below. She's definitely not Monroe because of the sharpness of her features. Some people said she's soft natural. I also was thinking maybe she's soft natural. Couldn't tell that she was very strong and tall, but no, she's not classic for sure. She's not one of classics like 100%. She doesn't have even a vibe of a classic even close. Not dramatic as well. She's too cute and too soft for that. Not romantic again, as I said, because she's not as soft. She has some sharpness about her. So maybe you will disagree with me, but now I think she's theatrical romantic. After David Kibbe put Selena Gomez in theatrical romantic category, and I think they both have some things in common in terms of their body structure. They're kind of delicate. I can't tell that their shoulders as sloped as Vivian Leigh, which is very rare now. I saw a picture of her in this dress, which is 100% theatrical romantic. It's small draping, it's soft, it has some sharpness on shoulders, it has perfect length and tulip skirt, and everything here about her is theatrical romantic, including hair and things. I think she looks perfect in that. She can also pull off A-line dresses, smaller dresses, girly dresses. She doesn't look strange on them or super elongated. If she was dramatic or soft dramatic or flamboyant natural, she probably would not be able to easily pull that off, and she can. For me, that is a sign she's a little bit on a softer side. If you know if any of these ladies already are typed by Kibbe or verified, also please let me know. I'm trying to be here and there in different publics of Kibbe, but I just don't have enough time to go over everything. Now let's look at the results very fast, and the majority of the women are flamboyant naturals from my viewpoint. There are 9 of flamboyant naturals. Next one goes 5 dramatic classics. We have 4 soft naturals, 3 theatrical romantics, 3 soft gamines, 3 flamboyant gamines, 3 dramatics. Then we have 1 romantic, 1 soft dramatic, 1 natural, 1 classic, and no soft classics and no gamines. This is my chart. So in terms of aesthetic, I would say that James Bond girl for me is more like a dramatic classic woman with luxurious glam. That glam that is very expensive, not over the top glam, not too much ornateness. They always have great hair, full hair, very classic and very timeless look. But of course I noticed their makeups represent mostly like a decade. In the 60s that was like that. In the 70s it was like that. Then we have 80s, it was like that. In the 90s, of course, we have brick colors everywhere. In 2000s, we have a little bit more calm situation. In 2010s and 2020s, we got back to that 50s glam, but I call it HD 50s glam. I have an amazing series, 3 videos about history of makeup, when I show you actually why we developed these makeup products that we have now and what actually influenced on changing. It was not trends, it was not women, it was not people. It was something else that influenced on what cosmetic products would be invented in the future. As far as now, phones and HD camera can show everything. I call it HD 50s just because now when you put the camera closer, it's much more delicately made, so we would not see those harsh lines, because back then it was more like a theatrical makeup still, and now we have this delicate glam, much calmer makeup. Alright, that's it. That was long. Thank you so much for staying with me, and in my next video I'm gonna turn myself into Bond girl. So stay tuned. I will see you in 1 week. Bye.